Speaker. It is a tongue twister for so many. Listen, it's a pleasure to speak to Bill 13. I guess we could call this bill the Liberals' 36-cent solution for the people of Ontario, because that is the relief that is being proposed under Bill 13 is a staggering, outrageous burden on the Treasury of 36 cents per day. And let's put this into perspective, Speaker. We know that there are 567,000 people who cannot pay their hydro bill, that they are in constant arrears of more than 30 days. 567,000. 250,000, nearly 20%, 1 in 5 of Hydro One customers cannot pay their bill on time. They're being offered 36 cents a day to help alleviate the burden. 36 cents. Speaker, we also know there's another 60,000 hydro consumers, small businesses and homeowners who have had their electricity disconnected. They cannot and do not have lights or electricity in their homes. 60,000 people. What sort of impoverished third world country is and are the Liberals trying to create here in Ontario, where energy poverty, 1 in 5 can't turn on the lights. I guess it can't turn on the lights even to do the math homework, which so many people need to do in this province as well. But I don't want to make light of this, Speaker. This is a huge and egregious tragedy that has befallen Ontario as a result of this Liberal government's electricity policies that have been clearly outlined by the Auditor General over the years. You know, the $37 billion in excess over market rates that Ontario consumers have had to pay, the over $10 billion in losses of having an overcapacity of supply of green energy. And we could go on, you know, of this outrageous global adjustment that people are paying. And let's not forget this. I spoke of this last week on the throne speech. But the Liberal government has wanted to keep this fact hidden from the people of Ontario, that Ontario is the only provincial jurisdiction that charges people a delivery rate on their electricity bill. The only province. No other province has a delivery rate. No other province has a line loss charge, but Ontario does. So when they talk about their competitive electricity rates, we can all see that it is at best an argument, an unctuous argument, that this is not being fully disclosed and revealed to people. And, Speaker, what we have seen is why we've seen this 36-cent solution offered is the result of a small little event in Scarborough Rouge River. One event, one day, and that is the by-election loss for the Liberal Party, triggered this epiphany of the Liberal Party, that now they must do something for those hundreds of thousands of people who are in the arrears on their hydro bill, for those tens of thousands of people who are struggling without electricity in their homes as we approach the fall and winter season. This epiphany because of a lost election. And I know this, and we all know this, that the only time this government moves to help people is when the problem that people are experiencing gets transferred and becomes a problem for the Liberal Party. And that's what happened in Scarborough. The people's problems were no problem, of no concern, no interest, until such time it became a political problem in Scarborough Rouge River. Then they bust open the doors to find a solution. And sure enough, it's 36 cents a day is their solution. And I asked every member over there, do you actually think 36 cents a day is going to limit or diminish how many people are in the arrears of their hydro bill? Do you actually think some of those 60,000 people who are living in the dark and the cold today will be able to afford to get electricity because it's reduced by 36 cents a day? I'd like to hear in the questions and comments if any one of the herd of pachyderms over there are actually listening today, how many people do they think are going to be well served by this 36-cent solution? And I think pachyderm is a good word to describe this, Speaker, because
I'm not so sure about that. I would ask the member to be very cautious with his language and not be insulting. The member has the floor.
Thank you. Well, I don't think elephants are unparliamentary. I hope they're not unparliamentary, because we've had bills in the House by the Liberal members, of course, protecting elephants. So, elephants never forget. And elephants never forget. But listen, we know the analogy here is it doesn't, although elephants, pachyderms, are big, strong, thick-skinned animals, it doesn't take much to send them into a stampede. A little mouse can send them into a stampede and they'll go off in all directions. And that's what we've seen here, this herd of insensitive, thick-skinned animals are stampeding to prorogation, stampeding to the 36-cent solution, stampeding in all directions because they're scared. They're scared of Scarborough Rouge River. They're scared of losing political power. And it is...
Point of order, the member for Trinity Spadina.
Thank you, Speaker. I just want to raise a point of order. The honourable member can attribute motive during his debate, and I think he just did.
I didn't hear him impute a motive. Member for Lanark, Frontenac, Lennox and Addington has the floor.
Thank you, Speaker. Obviously, my metaphor rings true. They do get a little bit scared and testy and get off in different directions. But again, Speaker, I want to again reiterate this. 567,000 people can't pay their bill. What are we going to do? Winter is coming. Winter is approaching. And do we think 36 cents is going to help those people? Not a chance. Not a chance. What are we going to actually do? Will the government commit during debate on Bill 13 that they set a target? They set a target that affordable electricity means this, that everybody in Ontario can afford to pay their hydro. That's the commitment that I want to see from this government, Speaker. A rock-solid commitment that under their watch, the people of Ontario will not be in arrears on their hydro bill, and that people will not have their power disconnected in the depth and cold of winter, so that this government can trumpet their smog days. Okay? We often hear this. You know, we have to put such a financial burden on people. We have to have them living in the dark and living in the cold because there's not a smog day in Ontario. Well, I can tell you, Speaker, we're getting a smog job in here from this Liberal government. There's no shortage of smog days here in this Legislative Assembly from this Liberal government when they justify putting people into poverty, when they justify making people live and go back to living in the caves without electricity because of their commitment to the environment. I've had enough of this smog job, and I know the people of Ontario have had enough of this smog job, and they're not buying it. They've been exposed, and we're going to continue to expose the facts behind their electricity policies. And that is why this herd is stampeding everywhere, and why the thick skin has now been penetrated by a loss in Scarborough Rouge River. And there will be more losses, Speaker. There will be more losses. And who knows, they may come up with another 2-cent solution next week to go on to their 36-cent solution. But it's not enough. It's not enough. And it won't be enough until they make a commitment that people in Ontario will be able to afford their electricity once again. This 1 in 5 people in rural Ontario who can't pay their bill is a travesty. It is a travesty, Speaker. And, you know, I've put the facts up on my website. Ontario is the most expensive province in the country when it comes to the total cost of the electricity bill. That is a fact. Fact. In Manitoba, the basic monthly charge for hydro is $7.57. If you used 1,000 kilowatts of power in Manitoba, your total cost would be $81.38.
How much in Ontario?
In Ontario, first, you have the monthly basic charge of $24.07. Then you have a regulatory charge of $6.71. Then you have a delivery charge of $82.66. That same home in Manitoba that pays $81.38 for using electricity of 1,000 kilowatts. That same home, pick it up and move it to Lanark County or to Manitoulin Island. Nickel Belt. $239.23. $81 in our province next door of Manitoba. $239 here. Even that electricity powerhouse of PEI, where they have no hydroelectricity power, where they have no nuclear power. PEI, that same house would be $162.52. $239 here. Saskatchewan, another powerhouse of hydroelectricity development. No, they don't have it. No nuclear. Very few windmills in solar panels as well, to tell you the truth. But that same house picked up from Lanark County or Nickel Belt, moved to Saskatchewan, would see a cost of $155.43 instead of $239. Is there any wonder? Is there any wonder that we have 1 in 5 people in the arrears? And put this into perspective. Can you imagine what would happen to any other corporate interest? Visa, MasterCard, Sears, Walmart. If they had a default ratio of 20% on their loans or their receivables, they would be insolvent, and rightly so. But Ontario Hydro, well, this is a Crown corporation run by a herd of pachyderms, and 20% default is, you know, we'll just disconnect them afterwards. And let's remember, unlike the banks even, or Visa or MasterCard, one of the reasons why they have to be competitive on their prices and whatnot is because they're in a competitive marketplace. Hydro One, are they in a competitive marketplace? No. No, they're a sole and exclusive provider of electricity in rural Ontario. They are a monopoly, and they act like any monopoly. Insensitive, uncaring, thick-skinned. And what did the Ombudsman, when we got the Ombudsman, explained to the Ombudsman the terrible numbers of people that were coming to our constituency offices with erroneous bills, with outrageous errors in their bills. What did the Ombudsman, he referred to Hydro One as like catching a greased and slippery pig, I think is what the terminology the Ombudsman used. Well, I could use the same metaphor for the Liberal government in their electricity policies. How do you catch them? They're like a greasy pig. You know, they have all these...
I once again ask the member not to use insulting language. It's not adding to the debate. I appreciate his remarks, but please not continuing with the insulting comments. Member has the floor.
Thank you for the reminder. It was just, you know, the comments from the Ombudsman, just the parallel was striking to me. I do want to ask the members opposite, are you going to bring this up in your caucus? Are you going to raise it up? Will there be a desire? Will there be an interest by representatives in this House that they expect the people in Ontario to be able to afford their hydro bills as well? And will there be a commitment that this government will endeavour and find ways to ensure affordability for their hydro bills? I would like to see a commitment from those who engage in the questions and comments. Say, yes, we're going to be requesting and demanding that your government brings in affordability as a priority. Bring in that priority of affordability, that we're not going to allow the people of Ontario suffer through a winter without electricity. I think that's a fair priority, a fair commitment for this Liberal government to demonstrate to this House. That, and instead of 36 cents, how about taking off the delivery charge? How about taking off the line loss charge? How about doing something real, something demonstrative, something that will alleviate the harm that you've hurt the people of rural Ontario with? what we want to see. That's what my constituents want to see, not sheer terror when they get a hydro bill every month. Thank you.